I feel like a life update is overdue. It's been almost a month since I graduated from college. I've honestly missed filming so much. The videos have been backlisted. I was getting my camera repaired. I feel like just a lot has happened and I feel like we need a good catch up before I can jump into the summer content. If you guys haven't seen my graduation vlog, I just posted that this week and I feel like I'm finally getting caught up on the vlogs. I graduated from college, which is honestly so crazy. It doesn't feel real. I feel like it would feel more real if I was transitioning straight into like a 9 to 5 and I was done with school. But I'm kind of heading into a very like transitional year. I gave myself about a week after graduation to just honestly enjoy my summer and relax. And then I started studying for my LSAT, and I feel like studying for my LSAT kind of makes it feel like I'm still in summer classes. So I don't think it's actually hit me that like I'm done with undergrad, but graduating from college was so surreal. I feel like my college experience in general just felt so fast, especially because of the pandemic and then transferring schools. I felt ready to graduate, but at the same time, it felt like the years had gone by so quickly by the end of it. I recorded a podcast episode this week recapping graduation and just sharing some of the things that I learned in college. It was kind of like reflecting on my college experience as a whole. I'm so thankful that I got the opportunity to go to college and get an education and pursue higher education because it is such a huge privilege. And I also feel like it is so transformative. Like I've changed and I've grown so much these past 4 years that if I looked at myself 4 years ago, like I would have been unrecognizable. It definitely wasn't easy, but I enjoyed every single phase and every single chapter of the past 4 years. I was sad to leave Berkeley by the time I graduated. I feel like transferring in and just only having 2 years versus 4 made my time there feel so much shorter. As I said in my vlog, I feel like it's better to leave things sad than to leave things exhausted and just sick of that chapter of your life. And so I'm happy that I got to leave Berkeley with sweet memories, with community that I had found, and just so many opportunities and experiences that I'm so thankful for. Graduation weekend was insane. I tried my best to vlog as much of it as possible. Originally, I thought I would have like an entire graduation vlog, but everything was super hectic because I had my 2 ceremonies on Saturday and Monday. My parents were coming up on Sunday, so they came to my department ceremony. This entire weekend, we had to also just move everything out of my apartment at the same time, clean it up, pack up the car. It was just kind of a lot going on all at once. But I barely had any time as it was to like document things. I was really trying to juggle like all the platforms, like getting footage for TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. But my #1 priority was definitely getting pictures because I feel like pictures are really what last forever and are things that you can look back on. And I also wanted to be able to just like live in the moment and really be present in graduation. I think it's so important to celebrate your accomplishments, especially when it comes to something like school. You work so hard to get to that point, and you're not just celebrating yourself and your achievements, but you're celebrating all of the people that have supported you throughout your journey. So I really wanted to be present in that, and I really enjoyed my department ceremony. I feel like the political science graduation was just done really well. I got to see all my friends before I graduated. I got to celebrate with my family and honestly just the people that are most important in my life. So graduation weekend it went by so quickly, but it was just such a happy and joyous weekend. I was really happy that my parents were able to come up. Also, it was really nice to show my family Berkeley and like the campus and everything that I had called my home for 2 years because they didn't really know what the campus was like outside of my videos and what I posted on my stories. So it was nice to show them around campus, show them my favorite study spots, take them to a couple of my cafes, and I'm definitely gonna miss that chapter of my life. I also am just so grateful to all of you guys because you guys have been along with me throughout this entire journey, and I'm so thankful for all of the kind messages that I received after posting about my graduation across social media platforms. I got so many messages from you guys saying that you guys have been watching me for years. Like some of you guys have been watching me since I was in high school, which is actually so crazy. I just appreciate all of your guys' support over the years. It's also been rewarding that you guys have also been able to take something from it, whether it be through watching my videos or my vlogs or listening to my podcasts. And I always appreciate when you guys send messages. My DMs are always open. Sometimes it takes me a while to respond. I know I need to catch up on like a bunch of DMs, but sometimes I receive messages of people asking like about my transfer journey, asking for advice, and my DMs are always open. Even if it takes me a minute to respond, I try and get to each and every message that I see. And I feel like we've just been on this journey together, to be honest, over the past 4 years. That being said, I feel like there are a lot of questions about like, what is next? What is this next chapter gonna look like? What are your post-grad plans? What are you doing next? And this next year is going to be a very transitional year. I decided my sophomore year of college that after graduating from college, I wanted to take a gap year instead of going straight into law school, which is something that most people do. I think talking to a lot of people who have gone to law school, they typically say that people will take at least a year to work, if not several years, and a lot of law schools actually prefer that. A lot of the times they recommend it for a bunch of different reasons. Some people take a gap year to have extra time on the LSAT. Some people do it to get work experience. Some people do it to travel, to get to know yourself, just so that you come into law school as your best self. Originally, I really wanted to take a gap year for 2 reasons. Honestly, to get more work experience, and also to just give myself more time to study for the LSAT, and to just give myself a little bit more time. I think especially since I transferred into Berkeley, it has just been like application after application, and I feel like I just need some time so that I can put forth my best application when I do end up applying to law school. And I'm honestly really happy with that choice. I think especially because I am first generation. I don't really have anyone in my family that has gone to law school, so I don't really have a set example to really follow. So I feel like going through this entire process, it's going to be a huge learning curve for me, and it's going to be a lot of research, and I just want to make sure that I do it right. I want to make sure that I am fully committed to the whole process. To go straight in, I would have had to gone through this entire process during my last year at Berkeley, and so I just wanted to give myself that extra time. They are also changing the format to the LSAT, and so I decided that upon taking a diagnostic test, having never studied for the LSAT or not even looked at a question before in my life, I quickly realized that logic games are not my strength. And this new version got rid of logic games. So I decided that I wanted to take the new format of the LSAT. The LSAT is the law school admissions test, and it's like a huge chunk of your application to law school. They say like 50% of your application is literally just your GPA and your LSAT score combined. So it has a huge impact on your admissions to law school. If you guys have been watching my videos for a long time, you know I am a terrible test taker. I was really bad at the SAT. I was really bad at the ACT. I've just never been one that's good at standardized testing, and I feel like this test has been my biggest hurdle and the thing that I've been dreading the most in terms of this like application process for law school. But it has to happen, and I feel like a law's timing is perfect. It just happens to be that the format of the test is changing in a way that is possibly going to help me score higher on this test right as I'm applying to law school. So just all of these factors just made it make more sense to take a gap year. So this next year, so over the course of the next couple months, I'm going to be studying for the LSAT. I've already kind of started. I'm actually on my 3rd week studying for the LSAT. I'm hoping to take it sometime in the fall, so I'm aiming for like September, October-ish, possibly November. It's definitely going to be difficult. A lot of the times people say to study around 6 months to a year even for this test, but I'm trying to cram it into like 4 to 5 months just because I tried studying for it a little bit like while I was at school, but it was really hard to juggle everything. I honestly felt like, especially this last semester, I wanted to focus on my grades because at the end of the day, once the semester finishes, you can never change your GPA again. I really spent that last semester just focusing on my classes, making sure that I finished strong, and then decided after I graduate, this is going to be my full-time thing. I'm going to spend the next couple months just studying for the LSAT. I'm not going to get a job. I'm not going to work an internship. I'm literally just going to study the LSAT full-time. And to be honest, I feel like with this type of test, there are definitely some people that can balance studying for it and doing other things. But I think for me, especially because I struggle with standardized testing, this has to be like my full commitment, my full attention over the next couple months until I get to where I need to be. But it's been nice. I feel like social media is such a beautiful thing because I have discovered LSAT TikTok, and I've been seeing so many other people kind of talk about their journey. So I've been learning a lot from other people, what's worked for other people. and all of that. And I definitely want to be a resource as well to you guys. So I'm definitely going to be sharing kind of like what that process looks like. Definitely be doing like study with me's for the LSAT and all of that, and just kind of taking you along like what it looks like to study for the LSAT and like what resources I've been using. But one thing that I do value is privacy, and I feel like the older that I get, the more I value privacy. I remember my senior year of high school, I made a video where I literally revealed the stats that got me into college, and I revealed like my GPA, my SAT score, everything. And I feel like as I've grown older, I've realized that that is something that I personally wouldn't want to do now. And so while I go through this process, and I want to share with you guys like the resources that I'm using and like what my studying has looked like and all of that, I won't be really sharing my scores. I won't be sharing like my GPA from college, just because I do want to keep that private, and that's something that I think is really, really important. There's plenty of videos and resources and people online that share like their exact scores and all of that online that I think is so helpful, but I just personally want to keep that private. So as I move into this process, I definitely want to share as much as possible while also keeping like certain things private. The next couple months, I'm just gonna basically be studying for the LSAT full time. My schedule has been like Monday through Friday. I've been trying to treat it like a 9 to 5, and then giving myself a break on the weekends to just kind of spend time with family, spend time with friends. I moved back home to Orange County, and I have actually been enjoying it. I feel like I've gotten into my routine. I've been trying to go to the gym every day. I've been trying to read and just make time for a lot of the things that like I haven't been able to make time for these past 4 years that I've been in school and working. It's definitely weird to not be working, because I have literally had a job back to back since I was 16. All throughout college, I always worked. And so it definitely feels really weird not working or doing any type of work right now. But I feel like it's been nice because it's given me time to pour more into the podcast, to pour more into Disclaimers Aside, to pour more into content creation and some of the other projects. I have some exciting projects that are going to be launching in the next couple months that I'm so excited about. And so it'll give me a lot more time to just focus on some of those other things that have been put on the back burner. The law school admissions process is on a rolling cycle, so I think the cycle opens in the fall and then it closes in early spring. So I'm gonna be going through that whole cycle and that whole process and just sharing a little bit of that as well. My plans for my gap year is literally study for the LSAT, apply to law school, and inshallah this winter I'm hoping to go to Mauritania and do some traveling. So those are the major plans for this year. I have a lot of other projects and like smaller things that I want to accomplish throughout this year, but I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a very pivotal and transitional year for me. I made a list before I graduated of like basically almost like a bucket list of like all of the things that I wanted to do or focus on during my gap year, all of the goals that I had for myself. And I tried to make them like not too lofty. I tried to make them a bit realistic, and also just prioritizing the things that like I've wanted to do and I've wanted to accomplish that I haven't really had the chance to do. I feel like this is going to be such a great reading year for myself, because I feel like my reading has suffered a lot in past years. Being a political science major, you have so many readings to do. I feel like it's now going to be the time for me to be able to just honestly read whatever I want. I have a whole shelf of all of my political science readings that I have, and a lot of which that I skimmed or just honestly didn't get to. So I'm excited to get to those during this year and just honestly learn for the sake of learning. I think a lot of the times when you're in school, you're just constantly focused on like learning material to do well in a class or to get a certain grade. And I'm excited to just do some learning for the sake of learning during this next year. I think this is going to be a really important year, and what I'm just hoping is by the end of this gap year to really just be that much more of like a fully actualized person, to be a more mature person. I'm honestly just aiming to become my highest self in this next year, so that when I do inshallah end up going to law school, I'm fully ready for it and I can bring my best self forward. Really excited. I'm hoping to be a lot more consistent in updating you guys on social media, especially on here, because I know this channel has definitely gone on the back burner this last year. It has honestly been so difficult to keep up with posting consistently, but I'm hoping to get back into like a more consistent posting schedule, especially now that my camera got repaired, because I have been waiting for the past like week and a half for this camera to be repaired so I can finally get back into the groove of filming. I did like a little room transformation, so things look a little bit different. That'll be the next video, and then we're honestly gonna just jump into some summer content. I'm really excited. Comment down below what are some videos and things you guys want to see. I know I mentioned that I kind of discussed on the podcast like a lot of the things that I had learned in college. If you guys want like a full video on that, I can make a YouTube version for you guys, and I can also make a video specific to Berkeley, because I know there's going to be like a new cohort of students going off to Berkeley this fall. There's honestly a lot to learn about Berkeley before you go into it. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I will chat with you guys in my next video.